What's going on? I've just been trying so many times to record this video today. This is probably attempt number 6. Jeez. I am definitely have seen stuff the past few days that just makes me scratch my head. Why would you ride a bike with a helmet, but the helmet's not on your head? The helmet's just hanging off the handlebar. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like kind of defeats the purpose of having a helmet on. Also, fun fact, looked up the leash law out here, and leash has to be shorter than 6 feet. So like those extendable leashes like that lady was using, if it's past 6 feet, it does not count as being on a leash, because the way they deem it, your dog is not under your immediate control. And also kind of like how with her, I guarantee you, she's not paying attention to anybody coming up behind her, and she's on, or she's on this side of the path and the dogs are way on that side of the path. So never understood that. Only time I've ever used those retractable leashes is when I've had a puppy, and or if I'm someplace like staying at a friend's house or hotel or something where I'm in the designated dog doing their business area, and I'm aware of who all is around me, and if I can give them that little bit of lead, then I do. But with this, where you're walking, most of the people out here have their headset or earbuds in their ear, and they couldn't tell you. If you walked behind them, you could tap them on the shoulder before they would know that you're even there. I could probably ride my bike up and tap them on the shoulder, and they still probably wouldn't even notice until I touched their shoulder that I was behind them. So it's just how people are sometimes. But my whole purpose with the video, before I got into that rant, was that I set up the smart trainer the other day and I actually did a ride on it. Did 22 miles, and I have a couple little thoughts. For one, I don't think it replaces a bike ride. To me, it's a apples to oranges comparison to a bike ride. I'm out here, if I got the wind, I'm pedaling into the wind. That's extra resistance for me to move the mass of the bike and me, and I have wind drag of myself, the bike. And sure, you can plug in everything and do the math to figure out what the wind drag would be to add to the realism, but let's face it, that's not going to be as accurate or as real as what the wind is, because I don't think they're accounting for wind direction in the game. That's what it is. It's a game. Now, is it a good thing to help you stay in shape or get in shape? Sure. But I think apples to apples, it's not an apples to apples comparison. It's an apples to oranges. But you know, it's like that whole thing of, is somebody who works on a farm, you know, slinging hay out into the barn and into the animal pens, are they, you know, stronger or not than somebody who works out in the gym? You know, someone who works out in the gym may have big, you know, pretty looking muscles, whereas somebody who works on a farm might have smaller muscles. They can move a whole lot more, you know, just because they're not reliant on that machine to help support the weight. I'm just not saying that, you know, every farmer or every rancher is going to be stronger than the person who works out in the gym the equivalent amount of time. So, you know, because somebody who works out in the gym, you have some people who can be stronger, some people aren't. So I think it's all just a relative comparison. That's why I say it's an apples to oranges thing. But if it's, and what I bought it for is having something to ride when the weather isn't conducive to going for a ride. So it's I wouldn't get a ride in without it. So to me, that's why I went. That's why I got one. You know, if the weather's great, or even if the weather's kind of iffy, I'll still ride the bike, you know, within reason. But if it's a very windy day or high chance of storms, say something for work, if I might get called in to do something, it's a lot easier to set up, ride on the trainer, and if I get called in, you know, break everything down and go take care of what I need to take care of. So, like I say, I think it's, for me, that's my use of it, and that's my opinions on Smart Trainer versus riding. I also have a new hub for the rear wheel on order. Last hub had some issues, and essentially the axle nut came off, and then kind of the threading on the axle got beat up, and then I tried to fix it, and I probably shouldn't have. Probably should have just left it alone, but it is what it is. And it's not the first time that axle has had a problem, so it might just be about that time for it anyway. And now I'll know, you know, what type of hub it is. The one that was on there, I believe, is just kind of a no-name, you know, like a white label hub that the company that made the wheels uses. Nothing spectacular. Just a hub. I wouldn't say a junk quality hub. Just a no frills hub that'll get the job done and last long enough. But I'm going with a Hope Pro 5, which is rebuildable, repairable, and apparently you don't need any special tools. You can just order replacement parts, or if you need replacement parts for any of the wear pieces. And then I guess take it apart, clean all the old grease out and any kind of metal, you know, wear metals that are in it, and rebuild it. Hopefully it'll be a good upgrade and good investment, good repair. I'm just glad I didn't have an issue that would leave me stranded mid-ride, you know, or have me playing hike-a-bike back again. I will talk with you all in the next one.